Okay, so to explain what in the hell just happened, so while I was trying to figure out how to speak English when trying to explain the WrestleMania schedule, I guess I smacked my desk so hard it caused my computer to do that. This ain't the first time that's happened. Like, I had this problem whenever I was trying to record that 5 questions episode I posted on Thursday. I was trying to do my opening shtick where I'd be laughing and I'd smack my desk like, yes, yes, yes. But I guess because of how I slapped my desk, it froze my computer, so I had to like turn it off and on. I don't know if modern computers are that sensitive or it's the desk itself, because I did it with the old table and it didn't do it. I don't.
Here's a suggestion: don't do it again, Levi.
For your live feed, I'm not coming through, so I'm going to.
Oh, now you are. No, you're in. No, you're. I see you.
Oh, there I am. Okay, now I see.
My live, everybody. Am I good?
Yeah, everybody's good.
Hang on.
Everybody's good. What are you looking at?
That's disgusting. Oh, wait, wrong window. I'm sorry. No, James, you're fine. You're fine.
Oh, God.
Multiple windows, man. I got a lot of shit going on. Sorry.
That's fair.
That's all good.
Absolutely.
It's fine. My hole, jackass. It's all good. Mm-hmm.
So, WrestleMania season.
WrestleMania season. What are we looking at, Levi?
All right. So, what are we looking at? Well, all right. So, it all begins March 6th on Saturday night, of course. And the following WrestleManias we're going to be covering are as follows. So, the first episode we're doing WrestleMania 7. Then we're doing WrestleMania 10. Then WrestleMania 11. Shut up, Duck.
Perfect timing.
Even the phone doesn't want to watch that show. Whack, whack. Whack.
No, I can't.
Someone clip that.
Please, somebody clip that, or I might have to go back and clip it myself. And now the Discord froze. It's not the computer this time. Okay, there we are.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
All right, we're good. I guess Discord was still...
Again.
I guess... No, it wasn't the desk. I guess Discord was still kind of loading everything back, but...
Well, fuck Discord.
But anyways...
Fuck Discord and that cord. Knock it off, Walt.
But anyways, so after Mania 11, don't you dare quack again.
Do it
why in the fuck did the quacking have to come at that moment?
Anyway, after WrestleMania.
Anyway,
11,
after Mania 11, it's Mania 14, then 17, and then we're doing night 1 of 37 on a Sunday afternoon, the day of night 2. So, and then we get back to the normal stuff afterwards. So April, after that, it's going to be a lot different. So in April, the final couple weeks in April, originally what we were going to do for April, we were going to do an ECW show, a TNA show, a WWE show, and a WCW show, but because we're extending Mania stuff, I decided let's talk about an ECW and a WCW show where we'll do Spring Stampede 94 and Barely Legal 97. And then May 1st being the watch-along to Heroes of Wrestling. Then after that, I don't know. We'll work it out and see where we go from there. Actually, no, there is one episode I got listed on my thing for May, and that is our second rebooking episode. This time, rebooking John Cena's first WWE title reign.
Forever and ever and ever.
Your mom.
Could you beware of dog, because Levi knows about blackouts.
Well, actually, one of the episodes I had listed in May is Beware of Dogs, so I thought way ahead of you.
It's in your house. I'm in your house.
In your house tonight. Oh, baby, in your house. But anyways, Ricky just said for a minute there, I thought it was my internet since we're expecting to have a cold front of 21.
Oh,
thanks, Ricky.
Yeah.
We're whopping 5 degrees here right now.
Right.
It's cold. It's 40 degrees. Oh, fuck. I wish it was 40.
I know. Man.
I especially wish it was 40 because it is icy outside.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, you're going to get nailed, aren't you?
Yeah,
Like
we've been getting
and he's going to get bad weather.
Yep.
Hey.
But anyways, though, where were we?
Questions.
Oh yeah, time to answer questions. If y'all got any, ask them away. But
everybody's still out there.
So we were talking about before we started. Something we wanted to mention is the change in the guard in the world of Japanese wrestling, specifically the Pro Wrestling Noah promotion. Walter, go for it. We got clarification on this
uplifting of the legacy of Kaiji Muto, known to many American fans, especially as the Great Muta. The other day it was 2 days ago, I believe it was. Kaiji Muto defeated Go Shiozaki to win his first ever Global Honored Crown Championship at the age of 58 years old. It was at Budokan Hall, home of which was basically the MSG of All Japan Pro Wrestling and Japan technically. A lot more history in Budokan Hall than there was in Japanese wrestling than there was in Tokyo Dome. I can tell you that.
True.
Match went about 25 minutes.
Yep.
Scott.
That's with intros and all that stuff, but it's good basic match. And thank God, and Walt and I agreed on this one, it does not have the New Japan curse of 10,000 false finishes. It does not have that.
It's got
it's got a couple.
What I like about Noah. This is what I like about Noah is it's reverted back to a slower paced, more storytelling, more psychology based.
King's Road. Yeah, King's Road.
Yeah. Yep. Lots of selling, working body parts and such. Go Shiozaki, you got to give a lot of credit because he put on a hell of a match too. Guy sells his ass off.
Yeah, he just really
sells his ass off and makes Muta look like $1 million. Muta's 58 years old, and what's
Levi sells something, and he's ready to blow. He's turning red. He's turning purple. God damn! Look at this kid. My God, boy, about to pop like a pimple.
No, Ricky actually clipped the quack quack.
Yes! Thank you, Ricky! Thank you,
Jesus
Ricky!
Christ.
What Discord is it in?
It's not
there.
It
is.
Oh, it is in the Discord.
No, it's not there. No, it's not.
I'll send it. I'll send it.
I guess I can check it.
But oh my lord!
I was gonna say,
WrestleMania 11.
Muta wins the title, but the most impressive thing is that 58 years old. 58 years old, Muta is putting on matches at a competitive level. At that age, I mean, that speaks. That's beyond, of course, Goldberg, and that's beyond Sting. So
yes.
That, in my opinion, is the most impressive feat. And that's not the only time. I mean, this has been going on the past year. Muta's been on a tear again. It's like he's got a third wind in his career. I mean, don't get me wrong, he doesn't move anywhere near as good as he used to. You can tell he's got some sort of pain going on.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a very good match. I believe you can find the match on YouTube. And don't sleep on Noah. Noah at one point was the best promotion in the world. But it's really, and it kind of had a major fall from grace, especially after the death of Misawa. But it's really starting to work its way back up with some great new stars. It's mostly Japanese stars. There's really a very small amount of Westerners in there, very small.
Mm-hmm.
But there's been a lot of good stuff on there, though. So do check that match out.
Yep.
And how about the Muta, though? Like, what a career, though. I mean, my God. I mean, he's Taker over there in Japan. He's basically their Undertaker. But he, at the same time, he's more like, even their, Hulk Hogan, if you want to say.
Mm.
No, he's one of the major stars, the major legacies in Japanese wrestling, and he just padded that on just the other day.
Yeah, and I'm going to guess, there's a young wrestler who comes out at the end of the match and has a stare down with Muta. Who is it again?
Kiriyama.
So,
really young guy, 24 years old.
Yeah,
already held the title.
Muta's going to drop the belt back to him or to Shiozaki, and then Muta's going to go away again. That's my guess.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about what's going on there, but that's my guess about that. So
yeah, I want to say this is definitely Muta's last hurrah.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys think even though he never was in WWE, he would get a WWE Hall of Fame induction.
I'd say yes.
No.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
yeah, because
Liger's
WWE
going in, so
and they have co-op the WCW, lineage. So I think they'd have to acknowledge former television champion, NWA World Champion, well known in Japan. He's a legend. Has worked with several WWE guys in the past and all that stuff. So based on the legacy and like you just said, with Liger going in, having never except one time in NXT worked for WWF technically, then why not? Why can't Muta go in?
Yeah.
Now who inducts him? I say Sting.
Yes.
Well, not now.
But still, it could happen. You never know.
Actually, that's not true. Yeah, you're right. Billy Gunn did get to go. So they mean,
Billy Gunn. The Rock inducted Ken Shamrock into the TNA Hall of Fame of all things.
Maybe Flair. Maybe Ric Flair would be
Flair.
If they can't get Sting, Flair would be a good option.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Hogan, because they did work together a few
they
times.
They did work together.
True. That's very true. Fujinami.
Oh, Shinsuke. What if Shinsuke got to it?
Nakamura would, yeah,
that would be cool. No, fuck, man. It should be Funaki. Yes, indeed.
What is your all-time favorite Muta match, Scott?
All-time favorite Muta match? Ooh, damn.
There's a lot of great ones, though.
There's too many to name.
I know lots of people like to bring up the matches with Sting, but there's way more to his career than those matches.
Yeah.
The matches with Sting were good, don't get me wrong, but my gosh, you put them up against the matches with Chono or Vader.
Yep. Hase.
Or Hase, or even Tenru. Who else did he work?
I do still love the tag match at the what was it? The Japan Super Show, Sting and Muta against the Steiners.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a sight to see at that time.
Oh, the match with Liger?
Yes. Yeah, that one too. And like any match he had with Basawa, come on. It's like two icons.
How many times he wrestled Misawa?
Not very much, but it was like a tag match or something like that. They were doing each other's fingers, I think.
Yeah.
So
I remember seeing him and Hase going over an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a really strict scientific match. It was really solid. Him and Hase versus the Steiners.
Yep.
Him and Chono versus Hase and Sasaki was a really good one from 1990.
Yep.
Of course, Hase and Sasaki got fed to the Steiners at the first ever Super Show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Match that invented the Muta scale.
That's the Hase match. Yep.
The second match with Hase. Although the first match with Hase was a bloodbath too. It was mostly Hase bleeding though. And
can't deny, even though it's on a different level, Thunderdome cage match.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, of course. You got to put that on there.
How about him winning Battle Ball? I mean, it wasn't really the highest moments of his career, and it really wasn't a very big, high-profile pay-per-view. That was a nice surprise when he won Battle Ball in '92.
Mm-hmm.
Also, his G1 Climax semifinal against Vader. It's a handheld camera match. It's the only way you could. It's the only video of it in existence is with a fan cam, and it's a fucking great match, and it set the blueprint for like Vader versus Sting and that kind of match.
He has a good NWA title match against Ricky Steamboat. I remember that one.
Which Ricky just said, why not let Steamboat induct Muta?
That'd be good. Yeah, could do that.
I can see that.
Could do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy that would be the perfect guy to induct him would be somebody that's not with us anymore. That's Gary Hart. But that again.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or even Terry Funk would have been.
Terry Funk good. Or Vampiro. Vampiro Muta are old friends.
True, Vampiro. They were a tag team.
Yep, Deadpool, the Dark Circus, all that shit.
That was right before Muta's second win when they were the Deadpool.
Yep, tag champions, yeah.
Yep.
I
saw Muta in ECW.
What's that?
I'm surprised we never saw Muta in ECW.
What would you do? Him and Van Dam? I mean,
him and Van Dam or him and Sabu.
Yeah.
Or even Taz.
Yeah.
Jacobus possibly too.
Maybe.
I still wish we would have gotten Muta versus Undertaker at some
Muta versus
point.
Undertaker would have been the better match aside from Muta or Sting versus Taker. I think I would have rather have seen that.
Yeah. Because that would I could see just Taker going up, but it would be a hell of a match.
Yeah, Taker goes over. But imagine, like I said, the spot. Taker goes for the chokeslam, picks him up, and right as he's going up, missed.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Russell said Vader if he was still alive to inject Muta.
Vader, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. Shit. Hey,
Muta versus Brock Lesnar. How about that would have been pretty. That would have been something. No.
I don't know.
Maybe 2002 to 2004 Brock.
Let's say Brock Lesnar versus Brock Lesnar 0304.
Yeah. Against Muta 0304 maybe.
Yeah. That's why that would have been a good dream match.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I put Lesnar over in that one too, but make him barely escape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, now I remembered what I was going to say. So a couple other ideas I had in mind for like later in the year for the show. Do top 10 lists of certain topics. Like I had already come up with 2. They're the yin and yang of each other. Top 10 all-time baby faces and top 10 all-time heels.
Now, when you say all-time, what do you mean?
Like wrestlers and of all throughout wrestling history.
All right, because
going back to the beginnings of wrestling, then.
Yeah, so I mean Frank Gotch.
Or are you doing modern? Are you doing
Jim London?
Well, realistically in our times.
Our times, okay.
Yeah.
Because
So
my
what do you
time and
mean by
Walter's
our
time is different than your time.
You know what I meant, but what happened?
No, I don't. That's why I'm asking. What do you mean?
Oh,
do you speak English?
Ricky just asked, did Benoit and Muta ever square off in Japan?
I
I would think they did, but I don't know.
think so. No, because I think Benoit was regulated to junior, and Muta was not junior. You could look it up, but I don't know of any prominent match where they touched each other. Because Benoit was out of Japan by 94, 95. So
with a few trips in and out.
yeah, so
about 97, 98.
I mean, at that point, Muta's up here, Benoit was down here. So, you know.
Benoit in the eyes of New Japan was strictly a junior heavy. They never bumped him to heavyweight.
No.
Oh, you know who could induct him? Scott Norton.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott could do it. Yep.
NWO Japan.
Yeah. Technically, yeah. Him and Chono.
Let Chono induct him. Chono can do it.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, it's really up to
Chono never
whoever.
wrestled a WWF match though.
No, I mean it's really up to. It's up to the person being inducted to pick somebody. So he kind of has to pick. He can't really pick a Japanese wrestler because they have to kayfabe. They're English,
Right.
like Tajiri does. So you can't pick Tajiri.
Norton would probably be the best option then.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, and you know what's funny? Speaking of Tajiri, it's story time, folks. So I remember watching an old episode of Storytime where William Regal tells stories all about when he traveled with Tajiri.
I know this one. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
where they won the tag titles together in Japan, and Regal's like, "We had such amazing chemistry, but I hate him."
I hate him.
Yeah, we'd be traveling together, and he wouldn't listen to music. He was scared of music. He was always scared of certain things. And Regal was like, I would get this close to him, and I would just go, and he's like, and I used to question my own sanity, and Tajiri would look at me and go, I hate you. And then the kicker, Regal says Tajiri is scared of Spam. So they'd go to gas station, Regal would look over, and Tajiri would be like, when he'd see a can of Spam on the shelf. So every chance he got, Regal would take his gear bag and put an empty can of Spam in there. And then he says, I get home and my dear wife asks me, where's all your money? cans of Spam. Open the closet and it's this giant closet full of Spam. She's like, are you half-wit? Are you backward or something? Yeah, cans of Spam.
You know what the funny thing is? Tajiri was likely reverse ribbing him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Probably, yeah.
Tajiri was advanced with his ribs because, like I said, he kayfabed the shit out of his English. And anytime there was at least 2 shoot interviews, quote unquote, that Tajiri did with RF Video back in the day. One was an on the road, and it was an on the road with Tajiri and Super Crazy, where neither one of them are speaking English, even though they can. Right. They're not speaking English, but they're trying to like still communicate and like kayfabe. Like they ask where are we going to eat, and Tajiri go Waffle House, like that. Waffle House.
And then they drive back past a big Mack truck, and he go, oh, yep. Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash. And there's another legit shoot interview, excuse my English, a shoot interview with Tajiri after he already had a match. His hair is messed up. He's got green on his face. And he pretty much he starts out speaking Japanese, and then he does broken English after that. So it's like, dude. even Liger does a shoot interview with, it wasn't RF Video at that point. It might have been Ring of Honor. And he has to have whoever was in charge of New Japan at the time translate for him, so he can only respond in Japanese. Yeah, so these guys got to kayfabe that shit. Yeah. Ask Bobby Fish, he'll tell you.
Yeah, what was it? It was one thing I was going to say about Tajiri. Also, with Tajiri's autographs, from what I understand, Tajiri would not sign he'd write it in Japanese, but it wouldn't be his name.
No, I never believed anything he wrote. Yeah. Yep, we were talking about this a few weeks ago. I don't know, Walt, you were here, but we were talking about how foreign wrestlers would go on TV and speak in their native languages, and they were just spouting all kinds of profanity and nasty stuff, and Tajiri was no different. And it's just so typical of that stuff.
I'm sure James Mitchell could confirm all the shit that Tajiri did.
Yes, he can. Yep.
Yeah, because he babysat Tajiri when he was
right.
When he was in ECW.
And even then, Tajiri would not speak English, but he would tell him what to. What's the line? He speaks English when he's going up, but he doesn't speak it when he's doing the job. That's the thing with Tajiri.
Did Jeff Leibold ever tell you about his story, Hakushi story? He had to babysit Hakushi when they were on the road. He was with him.
I remember that.
And he says Hakushi would rib him, trying to get, he says he's like the guy in Leibold. The guy understood English. He did, but he wouldn't do it with me. Mm-hmm. Because I had to explain cream of chicken to him, and I had to use props. And then Kevin Nash and all those guys are just laughing at me. Another old story is a wrestler, Sakaguchi. He was coming from Japan. This was back in the 70s. And wrestlers at that time. Japan.
Yep.
Business partner.
He would come from Japan. He was touring the States. He was in the AWA, I think, maybe working for Vern Gagne, because Larry Zbyszko told the story. And he legit didn't speak English. This is back at that time frame where it was legit with him. Right. But wrestlers are idiots, so they taught him how to say a couple of things. And they would see Sakaguchi walk into a place, and people would walk up to him, and he would put the hand out, and he would go, "Oh, hello, blow me."
I wonder how that went down.
Because that's what the wrestlers told him to say is hello. That's hello in America. Oh, blow me. Oh, blow me.
I wonder how that went down. Sakaguchi was a big guy, too.
Yeah, he was. It was, yeah. Eventually, some guys smartened him up, and he was not happy, but it happened.
Oh, God, I about choked on my own spit.
One of my favorite stories, this is reverse story. This is an American in Japan.
Oh, God.
Scott Norton. I think Dory Funk told this story on his website years ago. Scott Norton, of course, huge guy, of course, but very popular in Japan. And he walked, he was in a hotel, and he was not particularly in a good mood. And there was this noise happening in the vicinity of his room. Argument, something, bang, 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 bang. Next thing you know, Dory and a couple of the guys are down in the lobby, and here comes Scott Norton holding a phone. I don't mean this. I mean old plastic, big, huge phone you dial from, the one from the hotel.
Yeah.
And he brings the freaking phone, which the cord is ripped off of it. And you know it's the phone from the hotel because it's got the light thing on it. Back in the day, there used to be lights on there that tell you had a message. He walks up to the front desk. Wakarimashita. Phone's broke. And they stare the guy down and went, will you send someone to fix? Thank you. And walked away. Picture that 6'5", 290 guy looking at you with the broken phone saying, phone's broke. Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right away, sir. I think they just put him in a new room or something like that. But man,
yeah.
I would just love to have seen that picture of Scott Norrie with a broken phone.
Oh, another great rib story as told by Devon Dudley on an episode of Storytime. So this was around probably like 2002, 2003 time period. So there was a rib Vince pulled on Coach, because Coach was always a big gambler backstage, betting shit and doing all kinds of crazy shit. So they're backstage for a live show. I think it might have been for a house show or a Raw. I think it was a Raw. And Vince sets up this elaborate rib where he gets a bunch of cops in on it to arrest Coach for illegal gambling backstage. And so the cop comes up to Coach. Are you Coach? Yes, sir. We have a warrant for your arrest for illegal gambling. What? No! And they handcuff him, and Vince is just standing there like, trying not to laugh. And Coach is literally handcuffed, sitting in the back of the car crying like, please, I promise I won't do anything bad again, please. And then the other cop comes in, opens the door, and they let him out, and he's like, what's going on? Vince goes, we got you. And then Coach just goes, no. No. He starts crying like, no. And then everybody just started pissing themselves, laughing, especially Devon. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the animation on the episode where you see Coach literally crying in the back of a cop car. No. And then another Coach story. This one, an inadvertent rib, if you want to call it that. So it was one of the times when they went over to Iraq for the tribute, one of the tribute to the troops, and they're coming in to do the show, and Vince, and as a Coach would describe himself, he's like, anytime Vince needs something, I'm always there to help him, like to do whatever. And they're in this like hangar, which is their backstage, and Coach sees Vince walking around looking lost. And Coach is like, hey, sir, is Vince something wrong? Coach, I need a Red Bull. I can't find a Red Bull anywhere. And Coach is like, I'll get you a Red Bull. So he's running over everywhere trying to find a Red Bull, and one of the privates in the army comes up and says, hey, Coach, I heard you needed to find a Red Bull for Vince McMahon. Oh, yeah, do you got any? Yeah, I got one right here in my pocket. And then Coach is like, I'll make sure that I'll tell Vince that you were the one who gave him this Red Bull. So Vince was getting ready to do this voiceover for people to come to the show, and Coach is running as fast as he can with the Red Bull in his hand, and he's like, here you go. And Vince like getting ready to get up, and Coach is like, no, just stay there, I'll open it for you. And he's like, I don't know what possessed me to do it, but note to self, Red Bulls can explode. So he's holding it underneath his chin so he'd open it so Vince could take a drink and be happy. Open, all over his face. And Vince, he's just sitting there like, he just starts shaking and turning red. And Coach is like, and then Vince is like, you are so fucking stupid. And then Coach is like, yes, you're right.
Yes, sir.
You're right.
Yes.
And then he says, and then I run, and he's like, I run off because I didn't know what else to do. And I don't know if there's footage of it, and the Coach is like, so now when you go back and watch the show in the beginning, he's doing this because he's so soaked with Red Bull. Oh, Coach. And then another story told by Coach.
Coach's first 100 days backstage in WWF were like, though. I mean, along with
Lord.
Bradshaw back there, and
yes. and Owen at the time.
Mhm.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, could you imagine? And then another coach story. I don't know if I've told this or not. Remind me if I have. The story tells about betting about Big Show's weight. I don't know if I've told this or not. But
Yeah, go ahead.
But so on a different episode of Storytime, Coach was describing a story about there was a particular month where Vince would have everybody weighed, and if they didn't meet a certain target weight for each other, then they'd be put on a nutrition system for the next month. So, Coach is hanging around backstage, and one of the guys comes up to him and says, "Hey, Undertaker needs to see you." So Coach goes visits Taker. Taker's like, "I want you to run a pool." Kind of his specialty. What's the pool about? Taker's like, "I want you to collect $10 from everybody you can find to guess how much Big Show weighs." Because, Big Show and his weight back then, holy crap. And so 63 people put in $10 into a pool, so $630 is on the line to try and guess Big Show's weight. So all throughout the day, everyone's asking Coach, "When's Big Show's weigh-in? When's Big Show's weigh-in?" And so it's time for the weigh-in, and everybody's hanging out outside, and Big Show's getting ready to get up on the scale, and he's wondering, why are all these people here? He's like, "I'm not going to weigh myself with all of you hanging out here. Get the hell out of here." And then Vince is like, "Big Show, we can't wait any longer. Get up on the scale." So he steps on the scale, and it's going and going and going. 420, 430, and people going like, "Oh, no, damn!" 475, 480, 1, 2, ends at 483 pounds. And Coach says, "And who is the one guy you never want to win anything in life because of the jabberjaw that's going to come right out? JBL." And Coach is like, and then he's quoting JBL, "I can't believe you weigh that much. Did you weigh 483 when you flew in from New York? Or did you eat the peanuts coming down on the plane?" And then Coach says, "But the nice thing about JBL is that like a week later, they're in the Midwest somewhere." And he says, "In the Midwest, you can get a $1 beer." So he comes in, sees a lot of guys hanging out at a bar. "Shut up, Duck." And I'm going to go duck hunting soon.
Duck steals the show once again.
Anyway, I don't know which is better, the Duck or Otis. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, so JBL comes into the bar, sees all the guys. He has the 630, slams it on the table, and says to the bartender, "Until that is finished." 630 beers later. Did you eat it? Did you weigh 483 when you flew in from New York? Or did you eat the peanuts coming down on the plane?
I remember one food rib kind of sort of story from James Mitchell.
Lord.
Mitchell was working Smoky Mountain, and Jim Cornette was booking Dick Murdoch, Captain Redneck. We know about Dick Murdoch, and James Mitchell and a friend of his who worked NWA Wildside as a manager. God, I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head. Jeff somebody. They were there, and they were kind of assigned to babysit Dick Murdoch. So, okay, cool. James Mitchell's like, "Oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to talk to Captain Redneck. I'm going to learn about the business from Captain Redneck. This is going to be great." Because, say what you will about Dick Murdoch. He had a lot of experience. Him and Dusty were a huge tag team, worked all the territories, all that stuff. So he had a lot of knowledge to give. And every time James would ask him a question, he would just blister him. Dick Murdoch would just blister him with bullshit, not teach him anything, and just call him a mark and just give him shit all the time and ride him constantly. Mitchell was getting sick and tired of Dick Murdoch's shit. He just didn't want to take any more of his stuff. And come to be that just somehow there was some food in the back of the car that they were driving around in, and the food stayed there for a while. I mean, a while. And there was one particular sandwich. It was like a ham sandwich that had been in the back of the car on the floor, uncovered for like 3 weeks. And one day at the hotel, Dick Murdoch calls up Jim Mitchell's room and says, Hey, Bobby, what you got in that picnic basket? What you got for food? And he says, "Let me call you back." The light went off in James' head. He's like, I can give this guy food poisoning and get him off my ass forever.
Oh, God.
So he goes to the car, gets that sandwich, brings it over to 3 weeks at least. This ham sandwich been sitting in this freaking car. No refrigeration or anything. He gives it to Murdoch. Hey, give me that, Bubby. Slap a mustard on there. And he ate the whole freaking thing and didn't sell it one iota. Nothing. As nasty and as tainted as it was, fucking Murdoch ate the whole goddamn thing. And Mitchell's like, oh, God, no, I'll never get rid of this guy. I just gave him tainted toxic meat. He won't go away. So finally Mitchell says, oh, the hell with it. This has a happy ending, by the way. So Mitchell's like, screw this. I'm sick and tired of trying to make this guy my friend and ask him questions. So Mitchell gets freaking blitz drunk. And Mitchell, before he got into wrestling, was in the rock scene. You know, he sang in bands and he was, you know, he wanted to be a rock star and all that kind of stuff. So he just starts spouting stories of what he went through before wrestling with groupies and rats and all this kind of crazy stuff that we all knew James Mitchell would eventually come to be known for. And Murdoch popped. What? So now all of a sudden Murdoch wants to listen and he's shutting up. And now Mitchell is like, okay, I got another story. And Murdoch would pop from that one. And he'd tell another story and Murdoch would pop from that. To where eventually Murdoch finally lightened up and warmed up to Mitchell. And Mitchell and his friend Jeff, they sat down and that night with Murdoch and got the best education they got about pro wrestling ever. And then Murdoch was willing to answer questions and tell stories and explain things and detail stuff out so they understood what he was talking about. And it was one of the best experiences Mitchell ever got. So from a tainted ham sandwich that Murdoch ate, he got one of the best wrestling educations you could ever get. And that's an important lesson to a lot of new guys in the wrestling business, is that when the old guys are ribbing you and giving you a ton of shit and just like blowing you off, that not necessarily means they hate you. They're testing you. They're seeing if you can take it. If you don't sell it, they'll lighten up eventually and they will warm up to you and start answering your questions. But if you act like a whiny bitch, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. So, special tip for you right there.
Yeah. Oh, and to answer your question, Russell, I have the DVD right here. The Big Show at Giants World with the story of Triple H's stories of Big Show paying fans to get him hot dogs. Or my favorite story he tells is with his big tour bus he has now. And he has his driver. And Big Show says, I take shits in the bus all the time because it's my bus. And my driver just has to deal with it. After all, it's your bus. Why wouldn't you?
Remember the smoking story from the Table for Three?
Oh yeah, so that story. The day of, funny enough, on the night of this show, they're in the production meeting, and Big Show's back with Pat Patterson and Jack Lanza. Hanging out, and Big Show sees Patterson and Lanza smoking, and he's got his pack of Marlboros in his pocket, and he starts smoking. They're like, "Oh, you smoke?" Yeah, I do. And then they start dragging away, but then gradually...
Remember where they're smoking. In
Vince's office. They're in Vince's office.
Vince hates smoke.
Yeah.
Vince hates smoke.
So, and one by one, Jack drops it in the toilet, Pat drops it in the toilet, but Big Show's still smoking away until Vince comes in, and Big Show's sitting, like, Big Show in the story. He's like, Pat and Jack are like, hey, look what the idiot's doing. Are you smoking in my office? And Big Show's like in his head, do I rat out these two or do I just suck it up? And he's like, nah, I'm sorry, I did not know. And then he's like, yeah, well, Jack and Pat are two of my best friends. Them sons of bitches set me up. The day of this debut for all no, like, what the fuck? Oh man, Paul, what were you thinking, buddy? But well,
the rib stories were brutal in the 70s.
Russell
80s.
actually brought up one of his favorite ribs was Val Venus putting itching powder in Edge and Christian's tights. That sounds like something he'd do.
Yep, that happened to Jim Cornette, but it wasn't itching powder. There was this stuff that was called mentholatum rub. It was like a heating rub they used usually for like massaging your back.
Kind of like vapor rub.
Kind of like vapor rub. Well, you can put some of it in people's underwear.
Oh, God.
because Cornette changed. He was in sweats or whatever to go have a match. He came back, got the underwear on, got his pants on, got everything on, gets in the car. He's driving. As he's driving, he's realizing, Jesus, it's hot. Jesus, it's getting hotter and hotter. Three fingers of methylated rub in the crotch of his underwear. And it takes a while. But when it sets in, you know it's there. It's a slow burn, if you will. And you cannot get that shit off.
Jeez.
Yep. All those things like that. Distributor caps, C4s and the distributor caps. Sugar the gas tanks. Lipstick the headlights. Super glue car keyholes. That was a big one. And there was brutal ones too, like putting Drano in squirt guns and bringing those to the shows to try to squirt the heels in the eyes. That was another one. What was the sugar the gas tank was big, because once you put sugar in the gas tank, forget it.
Or Scott Hall and Kurt Hennig shaving the eyebrow of a newcomer.
Yep, that was quite typical.
In his sleep,
the Steiners tying up a naked Disco Inferno to a flagpole in the middle of winter.
Oh my God, yes. Yep. Jim Cornette getting his bag locked in a. It was Burlington, Vermont, actually, an hour north of me. He got his carry-on bag bolt locked to like the whole line of lockers. So you got to get the bolt cutters and get it through. Simple, classic rib.
Lawler getting his crown shit in.
Yep. Stephen Kern, and Paul Bearer, watch the door.
I watch the door.
Yes, Percy, watch the door.
Steve, Jerry's gone. Go do your thing.
Shoot the crowd.
Now, Levi, you brought up Val Venus and ribs. The one of the funniest ones I heard of was Al Snow putting up Val Venus's phone number on Raw during the Pepper angle.
Yes.
I gotta find, if you have any information about Pepper, call this number. And everybody, to the point where when Val turned his phone off, he turned it on and there was hundreds of messages. He had to change his number.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. I have information for Pepper. I was told to call the store on this phone.
You hear about the newest speculation? Well, the speculation that's been going on and been buzzing around social media lately. You know of the Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, right?
Yeah, I've heard about this one now.
Lane.
Stan Lane, yeah.
Cornette found out that came to light on Cornette's show. Somebody wrote in, who claimed they were Stan Lane's, first cousin, and explained the whole situation, saying that that Stan Lane is her illegitimate father, and that was part, and the whole paternal lawsuit that went under in 1990 revolved around her. And him. So they're trying. Him and Brian Last are trying to figure this out. And he goes, "All right, well, Corny, Jim, where was Stan when this girl was born in December 1986? He goes, well, that's funny because you know what was going on then? Stan was in Charlotte. Actually, he was in Charlotte in 86. Fuck, he was in Florida." And he goes, you know what that means then, Jim? Lauren Boebert is an heiress to the Midnight Express fortune. No!
Oh man!
Oh God!
Well, it's funny because Brian, when they started, Brian asked, he goes, "You know who Lauren Boebert?" He goes, "Oh God!" I said, "Crazy gun-loving congresswoman with the restaurant, the dumb moron fucking husband," and so then Brian explains what's going on. He goes, "What?" He goes, I know Stan was promiscuous, and, but that was the best. The best was when he was trying to figure out where Stan was.
Start putting two and two together, like, oh shit.
Oh my God.
Uh-huh.
Russell just asked, what do y'all think of the Mysterios versus Corbin angle?
I haven't been paying attention, so I can't say.
Here.
I really
care.
Yeah, but don't have cable, so I can't follow Raw, SmackDown, anything like that. I watch the highlights on YouTube.
AEW and NXT more than I do Raw and SmackDown. Raw and SmackDown, I just look at the segments. If there's something that interests me, I'll check it out on YouTube.
Same here.
If there's a match, I'll watch that Gauntlet match that's coming up on Monday. That I'm going to watch.
Which one is this now? I don't know what it is.
They're having a big gauntlet match to determine who gets the final entrance in the elimination chamber.
Okay.
So it's going to go a long time.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, yeah, the last time I did that was fantastic. It was almost an hour.
It's like
Rollins.
2 hours.
Kofi.
Kofi thing, right?
They did a gauntlet match a couple of years ago on Raw that went 2 hours.
That was Seth, wasn't it?
Rollins was in there for the bulk of it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This one's got all the Raw competitors with McIntyre, Orton, Hardy, Sheamus, AJ, and Orton.
Oh, congratulations are in order for Keith Lee and Maya Yim. They are engaged.
Mm-hmm.
Good for them.
Yep.
Big props to them on that.
Ricky just said, he says, I still think Dominic's going to turn on Ray.
I hope not.
I hope not.
Yeah, and they'll have a match.
Yeah.
I hope they don't do that shit. I don't want to see it. I don't care.
I don't either.
Honestly, I don't.
I'm tired of wrestlers turning on each other. It's like the most
For
ridiculous
nothing.
thing.
Yeah.
Family
already
members
teasing-
turning on each other. in
That
wrestling.
especially. They're already teasing maybe another split with the Riot Squad. They just got them back together last year. Then they're already teasing another split possibly. It's like, come on.
God damn it, we gotta
You know,
break everybody
you know what I'm
up.
bored with on television? Sting.
Yeah.
Not so much Sting, but the whole angle. It's gotten ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Oversaturated already.
They had the angle
He's
last week of
special.
Darby
Yeah.
Allin being the Team Taz beat the shit out of Darby Allin, put him in a body bag, and then tied the body bag up to the end of a trailer hitch in a car and drove the car down the road with Darby Allin in the body bag.
Mm-hmm.
No dummy, know anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And,
they did it with Hogan. Who fucking cares?
And also, once again, proven based on the ratings. I know they want to blame the impeachment trial for this, but come on. AEW takes a giant dip in ratings when they're having this big, huge advertised match between Omega and Kenta. Kenta making his debut in AEW against Moxley and Lance Archer. And AEW lost 100,000 viewers this week.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, proven 30 years of failed New Japan Pro Wrestling crossovers don't lie.
No, it's true.
How many times has the promotion tried to do something with New Japan Pro Wrestling and it doesn't even bend the needle slightly?
Never works.
Starrcade 95.
And even then, it was not that big of a deal.
A whole pay-per-view with new WCW versus New Japan, and it did nothing.
Did nothing. Mm-hmm.
TNA tried, it didn't work.
Yeah, Global Impact. I remember Angle versus Nakamura.
I mean, it makes it smart. It makes the smart fans happy. The big elite internet.
But now we can use the legit Al Snow excuse. Mr. and Mrs. Waldart don't give a shit about New Japan Pro Wrestling, so they ain't gonna be buying it for it. They don't care.
This is what I said. I was talking about this with another friend of mine. And I said, okay, now imagine you never saw New Japan Pro Wrestling. You've never watched it. You may have heard of it a little bit here and there. And then Kenta shows up. What is your initial reaction? You're not going to be like Tony Schiavone and go, oh my God, it's Kenta!
Mm-hmm.
You know?
You're like, who's this short motherfucker?
Who is Kenta? Why should we care?
Why should we care? Yeah, exactly. When they just do an automatic surprise for somebody that they assume their audience is going to know,
when not all of them is going to know who he is, and that's
the problem with every wrestling company nowadays.
Yeah.
They're assuming too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, everyone has the internet.
Small that Meltzer crowd is in comparison to the general audience.
Uh-huh.
Like, well, everyone has the internet. They must know who this is. It's like, no. Who is who is this person, and why should we care about this person?
Russell just asked, what do you think of the gauntlet match? I had no clue what you're talking about. And this is an American company, an American television that I could have access to, but I don't. So I have no clue. And someone like me who doesn't have cable anymore I have no clue what's going on. I didn't know anything about Muda going after the Global Honor Crown until Walt told me. So, it's like, okay, that's out of my radar.
And also they did they should have taken the time to do something to at least build Kenta up to get these fans familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
And I had another mild debate with another friend. Hi, Paul. You know who I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
And he said that this should entice fans to go. And he says that they don't need build up and stuff because a whole library of stuff is at their fingertips. That may be true, but here's the thing: wrestling fans don't want to do the homework.
No.
When Liger came to WCW in the early '90s, prior to the match with Pillman at Super Brawl, we had montages and segments, full matches. They showed a full match with him and Chris Benoit from 1990, an entire match to get you familiar with who Benoit was. When Stan Hansen and Vader were wrestling at Wrestle War 91, they showed you most
Clips.
of their infamous eye-popping match to get you familiar with what kind of match you were going to get.
Yep, and that worked. That hooked you. Like, oh shit, we're going to see this, you know?
Yeah.
So
the rematch in WCW wasn't really much to write home about.
No, it wasn't, but still, you know, it was as close as they could make it for American audiences.
Yeah.
But, so if they had done, like, teasers and built it up to say, Kenta's going to show up soon, and then you have wrestlers like, oh shit, Kenta's coming. Okay, who's Kenta? Then you show the promo package. Then you show his matches. Then you show his legacy and all this stuff. So when he does eventually make the surprise appearance on their television, oh, I know who that is. Do you know who that is? I know who that is. So, and then it makes sense. But instead of just coldly shove the guy out there like, oh, people are going crazy. No. Click.
All it really was, though, was to help build their New Japan rematch, which, by the way, happened already. And I hate to spoil it, but Moxley drops the belt. So.
Yeah, but that was going to happen anyway.
Yeah, they pre-taped the match. It's going to air next week.
Now, doesn't AEW have a pay-per-view coming up in a few weeks?
Yeah, so it was Sting and Darby Allin against
That's it? Okay.
Brian Cage and Will Hobbs.
Okay. Again, not knowledgeable.
It's like you have a pay-per-view coming up and you're not really building to it.
No.
Yeah.
Now, what does AEW do for pay-per-views? I mean, actually on pay-per-view, or is it?
Yeah.
They have actual pay-per-view. I think they're on the Fight Network and a few other things.
All right.
Yeah.
But it's mostly, they have traditional pay-per-view where you got to pay $50 or $60 if you want HD. Sorry, I'm not spending money.
No, thank you.
It's like the old days. We'll invite 10 people over and they'll each pitch $6. I want people over at my house during a pandemic.
Not now. Hell no. I remember when pay-per-views, were like $15.99, $19.99 or whatever, and WrestleMania was $29.99. That was huge, So, and remember that was once a year. Yeah. All the other pay-per-views were like $24.99 or something like that. And then at that time, we used to ping pong at each other's house. Me and all my friends would be like, okay, we're at my house for this pay-per-view. Next time it's this guy's house. Next time it's this guy's house. We all chip in $5 for the pay-per-view. We all chip in $5 for pizza. That was the night. It was fun.
The last time I did that, all my friends, something happened and all my friends bailed out and I got stuck with the pay-per-view.
Wow.
It was Halloween Havoc 90. It was Havoc 98.
Holy shit! Wow.
Ooh.
Yep. Yep. I got stuck with that. Or like 3 or 4 friends. Something happened. I remember one friend got into a fight with his dad and went to go live with his mom that night. Another one had called into work, and I already ordered the pay-per-view. It was a done deal. And I'm sitting here with pizza and a pay-per-view. Nobody by myself.
Damn.
I was slightly annoyed. Then I got really annoyed towards the end.
And
what happened at the end of that pay-per-view.
True, yeah. And also, it wasn't just one company. Every promotion had pay-per-views happening at least 4 times a year. So you had 3 pay-per-views you had to buy every month, And that was a lot of money to shell out. Even if you were ping-ponging around each other's friends' houses, like, okay, WCW were at my house, WWF I'm at your house, ECW were at your house. That's in 1 month.
In your house.
Yeah, in your house, legit. So...
I think if I remember right, the last pay-per-view I ordered was Mania 28. And that was me and my brother at a cabin at the lodge where my mom works. We got a cabin together to hang out and eat Papa John's and watch Mania 28. And that was the last one I remember.
Whatever the last Mania was before the network showed up.
29
was the last probably. I was at that one, so that was the last one. I wound up buying after the fact. But
Yeah.
Which I actually did the search today to find Peacock, and I have a Fire Stick TV. Peacock is not readily available on Fire Stick TV. You have to downloader and go get a separate program to download Peacock as a third party. So,
I gotta worry about that when it comes up.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty
not for
much
another few
after a
weeks.
little bit, I'm gonna cancel the network and then sign up for Peacock.
Same
Yeah,
here.
that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the same thing. Probably March 1st or whatever,
Mhm.
because March 18th I think is when
It's
it
supposed to
goes
go
to
into
Peacock.
effect.
Yeah, so that'll probably be around the time I'll dump the network, maybe at the beginning of March, and then get Peacock after that.
Mm-hmm.
See if the experiment works, and if the $1 billion they got was worth it for them. So.
Mm-hmm. But hey, same price. So
Yeah, if you don't want commercials, if you want commercials to go through that shit, it's $5 cheaper, but it is what it is. So
yeah. Well, I think that's a good way to wrap up. Yeah, two-parter episode because fucking yeah.
Because Levi decides he just wants to slap desks for the sake of slapping desks.
Mm-hmm.
No, I blame my brain for not wanting to process English.
Desks a lot.
Don't tempt me. All right, anyways. Yeah.
1, 2, new champion.
But anyways, so
you got him. No, he didn't flex.
So anyways,
Vince's great moves. The 1, 2, 3, he got him. 1, 2, 3, he got him. No, he didn't plex. And the what a maneuver salt. There was big moves in the 90s. So.
Unbelievable.
Oh, I almost forgot to mention to everybody who've been wondering, where's your microphone? I got the boom arm. No more using this. The stand.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, I got boom arm that I can move it anywhere I
like. That?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Imagine if I dropped that.
That was almost hilarious.
That would have been funny. I would have been like, that was a terrible decision.
Instant regret.
Which, you know what's funny? Mine and Scott's good buddy Dylan, Kamikaze Games, he did that for one of his stupid comments videos where he did a mic drop. And he has a mic cube with his logo on. He does a mic drop, and it almost breaks. He's like, that was a terrible decision. But anyways, before we go, it's plug time for all of us to plug our shit. Scott, what you got?
All right, I am on YouTube at Mr. Scott Reacts. Lately, I've been checking out the videos of Dennis Puana, who's a man who lives in Croatia, but he does these music what-if scenarios. What if Metallica wrote this song? What if Megadeth was a southern metal band? Things of that nature. So some of those videos are up on the channel right now. You can go check that out and subscribe. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. Scott Reacts, and I'm on Twitch at Mr. Scott Rocks. I've gone on there probably consistently
on Fridays.
Last few Friday nights. Levi, Lindsay's been stopping by, some other people too. So I go on there and I jam out to Metallica, Venom, Sodom, Pink Floyd, all different kinds of bands. The streams are not published after the fact though because of DMCA bullshit. So you got to come in live to see them, or you can go to my Discord and you can see clips on there. So you want the Discord link? Find me and I'll send it to you.
All right, Walter.
You can find me on the Twitter at your Walt Ball, and you can find me on Instagram at smokin_Walt_ball. And you can also find me and Mr. Scott on the Necrocasticon, where we discuss the best and latest in horror and metal with our good friends author Tom Clark, author Skip Novak, and wrestler Sergeant Fury Dan Robert. And we're available every Monday as to what Sergeant Fury puts it, wherever you can find your fine-ass podcast.
That's right. February is Women in Horror Month. And we've been having good times talking to some female authors and having good conversations with them. It's the last official Women in Horror Month, is what it is. It's a blood drive campaign is what it is that has been coupled with Women in Horror. So, but yeah, every month can be Women in Horror Month if you really care.
James?
You can find me on my YouTube at We Are Pro Wrestling, where I talk about many different historical, old school wrestling topics, weekly discussions on it. And you can find me on Twitter at WAPW_wrestling. Follow.
And real quick before I do my stuff, a little quick note. Starting next week for the Mick Foley episode, I kind of want to change things up a little bit in terms of like the Q&A portion. If you guys want, people who are watching want to ask a question regarding Mick Foley, WWF 96-2000, leave them in the... leave them on Twitter, like at me on Twitter. If you got Twitter, you can ask them. Or what I actually am going to do in the community tab of my YouTube channel, because we don't have a community tab for this channel yet. But if you guys want to ask a question ahead of time, send them in the community tab on my YouTube channel, ThrashManiac99. You can go sub there. You can follow and or subscribe to my Twitch, ThrashManiac99, and follow me on Twitter, ThrashManiac99. But yeah, next week, Mick Foley, 96-2000, the WWF run. The only our second non-review episode we have ever done, and that should be a good one. But before we go, can't end off without a raid. Let's raid Daniel DK, since he's one of the only ones who's live right now. So we're going to raid our dude, our dog, DK.
My dude, my dog, my diggity doink.
Yep. But until next week, horns high, and we'll see you soon.